Hey everybody, coming back at you with another video highlighting some of my recent vintage PSA graded pickups. Got about 15 cards here that I wanted to show you, and we're just going to start sequentially by year, starting with this very nice 1952 Topps Robin Roberts. Robin Roberts doesn't have a lot of Topps cards in the early 50s. This is his only one up until 1956. He primarily, I think maybe he had signed an exclusive agreement with Bowman maybe. But just not a lot of Topps cards. But 52 was a fantastic year for Roberts. 28 wins, pitched 30 complete games, 330 innings pitched. Just one of the most dominant pitchers of the 50s. Really cool card. I've been wanting to get this Robin Roberts card for some time. Decent centering on this. It's just a VGX4, which is a fair grade. But really cool for that 1952 Topps and the Roberts collection. Here is just a common right here, this Nelson Burbrink. Nice grade for an EX5 on that. Didn't pay a whole lot for that, but I picked that up. And then I'm always interested in picking up 1960s Topps, graded and ungraded. So I've got here a Lowen Stanley Wind Savers here. And then here is Turk Lowen himself from that same card. This one is near mint to mint off-center and is clearly off-center left to right. And another off-center 1960s card, this J.C. Martin, although in the photo there, that is the pitcher Gary Peters. Once again, a near mint to mint 8 off-center, clearly off-center left to right on that. Just picked those up for fairly decent prices. I just love the color, the imagery on those, even though they're off-center. Now here's a classic example of a grader having a bad day. Maybe, I don't know. So if you'll notice the sequential numbering on these two cards, they were graded at the same time. I bought them from the same seller on eBay. Looking at these two cards, on the right you have the red Schoendienst, and the left the Dell Crandall All-Star from the High Series from 1960 Topps. And looking at the grades on these, I've pored over these cards, looked over them many times, front and back, at angles, looking at them as close as I can. I cannot fathom why they are this low. The grades are this low on these cards. On the red Schoendienst, there's a little bit of snowing, maybe just a little bit of snowing, but that card is dead center. The edges are sharp and clean. The border's white. The back is flawless. I'm just like scratching my head on there. I've got to wonder, did the grader just have a bad day? And over here on the left, this Dell Crandall. I have, I have over 1,600 graded cards, so I have a lot of examples to look at. And looking at these two, it's a head scratcher for me. An excellent plus, so a 5.5 on this Dell Crandall. If I had to grade it, I'd probably give it an 8. Once again, good centering. This card, I mean, obviously it's a white bordered card, but no issues with that. And good sharp corners, clean back. No surface wrinkles on either of these two cards, and still a 5.5. And I paid a little bit more than I normally would for a 5.5 and for a 6 on these, just because looking at the image on online, they were very sharp cards. Some people say on these channels, make sure you buy the card not for the grade, but for the card itself. And that classic example of these two right here, where the grade doesn't necessarily match up with the eye appeal of the actual card. On here to a 61 Topps Bob Ewell. Good solid pitcher for those dominant Braves teams in the late 50s, early 60s. And then here from my Charme Lawler collection, this 1963 Topps Charme Lawler and a near mint to mint 8. This is the nicest quality 63 Topps that I have. They're known to be difficult with those colored edges. So this one is literally packed fresh and has really nice centering as well. So I picked that up from a Charme Lawler collection. Then kind of a random pickup here, this 65 Topps Tommy McCraw. Yeah, I got it primarily because it is from the high number series, the number 586 from the 65 set, and bundled with some other cards. Coming on down here to this 1966 Top Bert Campaneris. And then another really nice card. Love the checklist from 67, 68, and 69. And so I've got this 5th series with the Roberto Clemente. Nice card. And on here to this 1969 Milton Bradley Willie McCovey from my McCovey collection. Near mint 7 grade on that. It's okay. These are perforated cards that had to be teared out of a larger sheet. And then a couple months ago when I was doing a video on a recap of some of my cards, I showed my Drysdale collection and kind of realized I was lacking in some of his later cards, so I picked up this 69 Topps. Just recently bought a 68, waiting for it to come in the mail, but there's a nice 69. And then the last card from this lot, this 1955 Bowman, John H. Johnson. He was a Hall of Fame running back in the 50s and early 60s. When he retired in the 60s, he was the third leading rusher of all time. Had over 6,000 yards. But this is a very nice quality VG3. Once again, this is a classic case of buying the card and not the grade. I didn't pay hardly anything for this, and a very sharp card, and from 55 Bowman, really cool. Well, that is all I have for you guys. Thanks again for your posts and comments, and I'll talk to you again later.